The next piece we're going to make is part number 4. So once again, we'll go up and we'll pick new part. Say OK. Oh, like all of these, there's many ways that we could go about drawing this. Let's start with our front plane. We'll start a sketch on our front plane. Let's go in here and put in our reference lines. All right. And then let's look at this. So let's take our line tool here. We'll start at this point, draw out, up, over, down, and back to here. Right? We'll say OK. And then we can take this and we can select all of this and we can mirror entities and we'll mirror it about this line here. All right. Now we'll go in and we'll start putting in our dimensions. So we can see that we want this whole thing to be 70 on the inside. Excuse me. This to be all right, so we can go in here to our smart dimensions and we can start putting in our dimensions. So we see here that this outside dimension is going to be 70. Our width here is going to be 8. So we can say from here to here is equal to 8. And from here to here is equal to 8. It doesn't quite show that in the drawing, that those two are equal widths, but it's implied in the drawing. And then we can see that our height here is going to be 45, which is the height up to the center of the circle, plus 12.5. So we can go here and grab this, and we can say that this is going to be 57.5. All right. Now if we zoom out, we can see that we're fully defined at this point in time. So we'll say OK to our dimensions. And then we can go to our features, and then let's extrude this. We'll do an extruded boss base. Let's do a mid-plane extrusion. So mid-plane, and we can see that our width on this total thing is going to be 25. All right, and there we go. All right, so now we're going to round this top off, and we're going to use the fillet tool. So we can go up here and we can click fillet. We want to use the full over round. And so our first face is going to be this face. Our second face is going to be this face. And our third face is going to be this face. And you can see that that just rounds it over nice and neat like this. And then we can say, OK. And then we'll do the same thing over here. So we'll say fillet and pick our first face. We'll pick our second face. And we will pick our third face. And we'll say OK. All right, and that's got our roundovers there for the top. And now we want to go in and we want to put our holes through up in the top. So we can click on this face right here and we can go new sketch and we will pick our circle tool and we should be able to get to the edge here and go over, and it should give us our center point. There we go. And we pull out our radius, and we can see that those radiuses are going to be, or our diameter for this hole is going to be 8. We'll pull off of this, and we'll say 8. Say okay. You can see that that's fully defined because we actually are associating it to the center of this curvature, which is what is going on in that picture as well. So they both have a radius curve. This one is 12.5 and this one is 8. So we can say okay on that. Then we go features and we will do an extruded cut and we can pick through all. And you can see that that's going to cut all the way through, and we say okay. And now you see we have that whole cut right there. All right, so now we can go down and we can go to this face right here and we can say new sketch. All right, and so since we mirrored this about the plane, we now have our origin here is going to give us a nice center line. So let's draw in that center line. And then we can draw in this center line. Since this is a 2-part whole, sometimes it's nice to be able to mirror about things. And so we can then draw our 2 circles. Got a circle here, and then we've got a slightly bigger circle there. All right. We'll go to our smart dimensions, and we can see on here that we have our outside circle for the inset cut is going to be a diameter of 10. Let's say 10. And our inside circle is going to be a diameter of 6. And then we can see that that distance from the circle to the circle is going to be 34. So we know that they're centered around that plane, so that we know that our distance from this center point to the edge of that circle is going to be 17. So we can say from here to here is 17. And then that makes that fully defined. All right. And then we can go in and we can select those and we can say mirror entities, mirror about this line here, and say okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to do our extrusions. And in the past, what we've done is we have gone ahead and we've done our extruded cuts while we're still inside the sketch. In this case, we want to actually close the sketch. So we want to go up here and we say okay, and we'll close that. Now you can see that those 2 sketches are closed. We want to right click up here. We want to make sure that that's visible, which it is. All right. So now we can go here and we can click on this inside circle and push shift and click on the other inside circle. And we go to feature and extruded cut. And here we want to say through all and say okay. And so you can see that that cut that hole down like that. Now what we can do is we want to go back and show that sketch. And we can go here and we can click on this circle, push shift, click on this circle, and we can say extruded cut. But instead of making that through all, we want to make it blind, and we want to make it 5 millimeters down. And we say okay. And now you can see that we have inset holes that went down through all of that. Okay, so we'll zoom back out a little bit. And you see, let's turn that sketch off. So we'll go here, and we'll click on this, and we'll say hide. That'll just make it look a little bit cleaner. But now we have our part built. Okay. So let's go up here and we'll make it yellow, just like the drawing, and we'll say okay, and then we'll save this as part number 4, and we'll save it into that same folder we saved everything else. All right, so that's this piece finished for part number 4, and the next piece we'll do is the lever.